Welcome to the Creative Differences podcast, everybody. I'm Cassie, and I don't know. It's weird living in a time where I'm okay, but it feels like the world in general is on fire.
And I'm Demi, and man, you hate to see a diva go down. Welcome to another episode of the Creative Differences podcast, your one-stop shop for movie reviews, Fancast Fridays, Throwback Thursdays, and a number of other pop culture-related items. Come for the movie review, stay for the thirst. Today, Cassie will be hanging out with me as I talk about The Penguin.
Yep.
That's exactly what is going to happen. Dallas and Gabby could not be here today. They are too busy blowing up a central street in a low-income neighborhood. Anyway, make sure...
Do we still want to work with them?
I'm abiding by Dallas's rules of coming up with these things. Do not take that as an actual threat, please. Whoever is listening to this. I am making jokes. Before we get into things, please like, share, subscribe, tell your friends about us. Because we could use the subscribers. We've been doing this for a long time. We've been having a good time. But, you know, it's easier to do this if there are people listening.
We need the audience to subscribe to the account, yeah.
Exactly, yeah, that's it. That's really the thing, especially because some of us will probably be leaving X very, very soon.
And some of us already did.
Congratulations, you got out of the hellscape. All right, guys, let's jump into The Penguin. The Penguin is developed by Lauren LaFranc, or LaFranc. I don't know if she pronounces it real fancy or not, but I think LaFranc sounds cool.
Yeah, it does.
It does, right? And it stars Colin Farrell, Kristen Milioti, Renzi Felice, and Deirdre O'Connell. A few other people like Jim Clancy, Shohreh Aghdashloo. A lot of cool people are in the show, man. And the IMDb summary is, following the events of The Batman, from 2022, Oz Cobb, aka The Penguin, makes a play to seize the reins of the criminal world in Gotham. Yeah, that's true. That's what's happening on this show.
Is his name officially Oz Cobb?
It is on in this universe, yeah.
Come on.
Nah, they didn't want to go. They didn't want to go super Cobblepot.
Why not? It's fun.
Because Cobblepot don't sound like a real last name, I guess.
Uh-huh.
Cobb sounds more like a last name than Cobblepot.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, like who are you going to meet on the street whose last name is Cobblepot? I'm more likely to meet somebody on the street whose last name is Cobb.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I just would it really matter if, the show and the performance was so good, people wouldn't go, oh, but I can't get into this because his name is Cobblepot.
Maybe they wouldn't take the moment seriously when they are calling him Cobblepot, when they're using his last name.
Fair.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But the show is fantastic. It is a really good show. It is one of the best superhero shows ever. And I think it's just one of the best shows that's come out this year. Legitimately just well made, very well written. I really like the story that they decided to tell. I think nowadays we get a lot of stories that are about villains and they are written in a way to empathize with the villain or to justify their actions in a way. The maleficent occasion of it all. As I will put it, where you make this story about the villain, but you don't really want them to be the villain because you want your audience to root for what they're doing, so you kind of make them a little bit more palatable. And this show does not bother doing that at all. I saw somebody on Tumblr make a really good point about how the show kind of presents the Penguin presents Oswald as like this very human, flawed character at the beginning of the show, and then the further and further along as the show goes, the more and more you realize, oh no, this man might be a sociopath, or just like he's evil. He is not a good person at all. There is no, oh, I made some mistakes along the way. Like, no, you don't feel bad or remorse for any of the wrongdoing that you've done, and there is no empathizing with that. And I think that's really cool because when I think when we go into the show, if you know anything about the show and you've seen the marketing, you're kind of anticipating that we're going to meet Sofia Falcone, played by Kristen Milioti, and that she'll be the villain of the show. Like, oh, the Penguin's a villain, but she's an even bigger villain. And I think the show really plays with your expectation of that. Mm-hmm. And they do it so well, where you find yourself rooting for somebody else instead of rooting for the Penguin himself, but still kind of rooting for him because he's the protagonist. So it's a really good mafia show, really good mobster show. which I haven't watched too many of those, to be honest. I did not watch The Sopranos. I have not watched that yet, so I don't really I can't make any comparisons to that show.
Sure.
So you will not get that from this review.
I mean, I feel like they're very different because The Sopranos is more about a whole family, whereas this is more centered around one guy at the end of the day.
It's centered around him, but it's also very much centered around Sophia. There is actually like a whole full episode that is solely revolves around Sofia Falcone. I think that episode actually might be one of the best episodes of television ever. Colin Farrell is still really great as the Penguin. I think, like, I remember when we talked about The Batman when it came out, that you and Dallas were saying that he was a standout for you guys. You guys really loved him as the Penguin. And I think that there was a little bit of a goofiness to that portrayal in that movie. I think because this is his show, he doesn't have to be the goofy, like...
right, he's not playing against someone super serious all the time. Well, I mean, I guess he probably is, but it's his thing, so...
Yeah, I think that the character wants you to underestimate him as well, so there are moments where it's like he's definitely playing like smaller and less powerful to really get people to underestimate him, but he's not so silly, I guess I would say. He's definitely far more serious. He's a character that you start to take more seriously, because this is the story of the ascension of a villain. So he becomes a lot more threatening than he was in The Batman, I would say.
That makes sense. I mean, he was kind of second fiddle in The Batman as it was, so...
Yes. He disappears into the prosthesis, and he disappears into the performance as well. Like, I want to give so much more detail into his performance, but it's really hard when you're trying not to give spoilers away for the show as a whole. Kristen Milioti, I have never seen her really in anything before this. I did not get into How I Met Your Mother, and I haven't seen some of the movies that she's done. She is so good on this show. Her acting choices are really what get me. Like, I'll watch the show and there are certain things that the character will say, and there are certain moments that she's having where I can see in my head what choices an actress would usually make to play the role. She always does like, what's the opposite?
Okay.
Because I like characters like Sofia Falcone, these like villainous women. That's my bag. That's me coded.
Bag.
There's one scene towards the end of the show where I could definitely see a lot of actresses choosing to instead lean back into the chair as if showing confidence in the situation to show that they're very cool and level-headed about it. Kristen Milioti chooses instead to sit at the edge of the seat, her elbows on like the edge of the arms as she's like leaning forward, and it just seems so alert and almost anxious. And like not at all very cool, and not at all as if she's the one who's in control of this entire situation. And I just find her performance to be fascinating, as well as very nuanced. Yes, I was rooting for Sofia Falcone. Even the writers were saying that she's the closest thing to a hero that the show has. So yeah, I love her. She's so cool. And I hope that they find a way to bring her back around at some point for the Batman, just for this universe in general. Like, I really like the character in the comics, and this is a very different iteration of her, a different adaptation altogether, because Poorna Jagannathan is more well known for like her stature and brutality in the comic books, and this is obviously just Kristen Milioti is not that, so it has to be a very different performance. I like the way that they adapted her. I like the way that they've made her a kind of more of a strategist. She's looking for freedom and liberation, and so you can see that she's kind of looking for what avenue to take to get that. And then Renzi Felice as, man, I wish I could go through like all these actors. I really need to finish this up, but Renzi Felice, I've loved him since Runaways. I'm so happy to see him on this show as Victor. He's wonderful. You really rooting for this kid to make it through this show, to like succeed and to just get out of the situation that he's in. We find out that he's obviously, like, the whole city is obviously victim to the floods at the end of the Batman, but we get to see the floods from his perspective, and it is horrifying. It is a terrible, terrible thing to see it from the eyes of an average person who had no idea that it was coming, and
That's
to
awesome.
see the loss that comes from that. And that's another way that the writing is so good. The perspective that it gives us that we didn't have from the Batman, and giving us less of a Batman eye view of situation and more of a your average person view of the world. It's definitely Gotham in the daylight and not Gotham in the darkness.
Okay.
which is very interesting. Deirdre O'Connell as the Penguin's mom. Yo, her performance is hard to talk about because, again, spoilers, I don't want to give them. There are certain things that you expect about this character. There are certain things that you think about her. In the same way with Sofia Falcone, that evolves and changes as the show goes on. And Deirdre O'Connell is really good at playing a mom who definitely loves her kids, but maybe not in the way that we expect mothers to love their kids. I'll leave it at that. I think that's the best way to put it. I feel like I gotta rewatch that show because I feel like once you've seen it once, if you watch it again, you'll watch it with whole new eyes because of the things that you find out as the show goes on. And I think that's the mark of a good show. Sometimes it's just being able to watch it and get something new out of it.
Yeah.
The production, I think that they did a really good job of kind of bringing Greg Fraser's like visual aesthetic of Gotham to the screen. I mean, obviously it's not exactly the way the movie looks. You can only do so much when you have probably a lower budget than a movie does. For me, I'm like, oh, they definitely don't have the same like lenses that they were using for the Batman, because I know Greg Fraser has talked about using like vintage, somewhat broken lenses for the Batman to give it a very unique look and style. But they definitely did their best, and I think they did a really good job of bringing it to television. And I'm hoping that the Dune series, which is starting tonight as we are recording this, I hope they manage to pull off the same thing, because Greg Fraser, again, has created a very unique visual look for Batman for these movies, and I guess for this universe period. And hopefully he'll be back for the Batman too. Dear God, please, now that Dune Messiah is no longer filming at the same time. Design-wise, the show, everybody is on their A game for sure.
Nice.
But I am really glad that they tried their best to match the aesthetic of the Batman movie, because that is so, I feel like it's so key to that universe.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. You want it. It also just like, if this is going to be a shared universe, you want it to have a unifying look as best you can.
And it, like, obviously it's going to be a little different because like a lot more of the Penguin is shot in daylight than at night.
Yeah, that's going to fundamentally be very different.
And it also makes it a little bit more interesting. I think Gotham in the daylight is always a fascinating thing to try and explore. Birds of Prey did the same thing where it was Gotham in the daylight, right? Like Gotham has a very obviously gothic aesthetic usually. And that's very, I don't know, I guess like the gothic aesthetic kind of fits in more at night. It just feels more like a night-based aesthetic. But it's very cool to also see it in the daylight and to see those types of details. Overall, The Penguin is just a really well-made show. It's well written. The acting is so nuanced and so good, and just the way that the characters behave, I think your view of it changes the more information that you get as the show goes on. But yeah, that's all we should spend all that time on for The Penguin. Did you do a 10-minute take? Did you watch something for a 10-minute take? Oh, what'd you watch?
I'm so sad that Dallas isn't here for this one, because it would make him, I don't know if it would make him happy, but just maybe the vindication that, you know, it's out there. I watched the first 10 minutes of The New Mutants.
Oh my gosh.
I'm so
Which is
sad.
something I've never
I'm sorry,
seen.
Dallas.
Oh, Dallas, you missed out.
Rip. So, first of all, it was hard, because the first thing it starts with is like, there's this old Native American proverb, which, first of all, you can't just, I feel like we get past just saying Native American. You know how many different tribes there are and how many different beliefs? And like, come on. Anyway, there's old Native American proverbs that every person has two bears inside of them, and one's good and one's evil. And I just think about the number of different, like, you have two wolves inside you memes I've seen, and it was great. But I mean, like, it starts with the main character, you want to call her that, Danielle Moonstar? Yes. Her reservation is like on fire, some bad shit's happening, we're not sure what, and her dad's like, yo, we gotta get the fuck out. So they go running into the woods, which is a questionable decision, but hey, whatever. And then her dad's like, hey, hide in this like hollow tree, I gotta go help people, I'll be back. And so she's like, well, no, but you know, he does. So he leaves, and then she hears some stuff that we can't really make out, and her dad's screaming, and then her dad's like dead body just like falls in front of her, and it's been like fucked up. And then she hears like something sort of growling, some kind of animal, and she starts running because You ain't about to sit there while these things are out there. And, she's running and she falls and then, like, she's looking up and, oh my God, what is it? And then her eyes are closed. But then she, like, opens her eyes and she's in basically a psych ward, as far as I can tell. Like, she's handcuffed to the bed. And the doctor of the psych ward, Dr. Reyes, shows up and she's like, hey, everybody else at your reservation died from an F5 tornado. You're the only survivor. And Danny's like, yeah, but there was a bear or some shit. And she's like, nah, you imagine that. Trauma. It'll get you. But, by the way, you're a mutant. So, hey, that's why you survived. You're special.
Oh, no.
That's pretty much how it goes. And Danny's like, wow, this sucks. He's like, yeah. But you're in a safe place now. Nothing can hurt you. But also, you can't leave until I decide you're not a danger to yourself. So, whatever the fuck that means. And,
this feels like the
Danny.
opposite of a school.
Oh, it's very. Honestly, I don't understand why this is where. Like, I get maybe you didn't want to do Xavier. Maybe you couldn't do Xavier. I don't know what the deal is. No, they could. They've done it. But why they didn't, I don't know. Anyway. And then, like, we cut to the next day, and there's, like, a group therapy session with the other kids who are going to be the main characters. And the doctor's there, and she's like, let's talk about the first time that your power is manifested. And nobody wants to talk about it. She's like, well, if you don't talk, we can't help each other. And I'm like, what is this we? You're not part of this. And then Danny shows up, and, it's awkward because you have to go to your first group therapy session in a psych ward that you didn't ask to be in, full of people you don't know after everyone you know died. So
and talk to all of them about your trauma.
Right. So then the doctor's like, hey, Maisie Williams, whose character's name is Rain, I think, you should go first. And so she's like, okay, I remember I was like running through the woods and it felt really great. I felt free. And it's this cool like POV of, through someone's eyes running through some woods. And then she's like, but it also felt bad because I knew it was bad. So I went to the priest and told him to like help me pray the not gay away. And then I like transformed in front of him, and that's where the 10 minutes ends. So I assume that Father Craig was not happy about it.
Probably not. No, he probably didn't survive it.
Probably not. I mean, maybe, or it might be the kind of thing where he was like, you're a demon and you're evil, and then she attacked him. I don't know. I don't know.
What would you think of the first 10 minutes? How do you think it was spent? Is it well spent?
I think it is well spent. It establishes Danny, and I guess the others are introduced. It doesn't give me a sense that, some weird and fairy shit's going to go down in this psych ward, but, they'll build to that, I guess. It's cool. I mean, it's not scary, which is interesting. I thought they would lead with that, but no, it's not.
I don't really remember what Dallas said about the horror aspects of that show or that movie. I know that he reviewed it on this channel at some point, but
at some point when it eventually came out.
Yeah, it took forever, but we got there. All right. Well, thank you for giving me your 10-minute take on a movie that I probably will never watch.
Yeah, it's on Disney Plus if you want to.
It's unfortunate that Dallas was not here to experience this, because I feel like he'd have a lot more questions for you because he has seen the movie.
I will say shout out to, I can't remember what Ileana's dragon companion is called. Is that Lockheed or Figment, or might be something else? But shout out to it being a hand puppet in the group therapy scene. I thought that was really cute.
Oh, that's adorable. Is she controlling the puppet? Like she has the hand puppet?
Yeah, it's just a hand puppet.
Oh
like
my gosh.
The doctor asks her if she wants to talk, and she just holds up the puppet and shakes its head back and forth.
Oh.
Yeah, it's real cute.
That sounds adorable, actually. Oh, man. Oh, you know what I didn't do during our review? I tell you guys all the time to watch for the review, stay for the thirst. Yo, Sofia Falcone. That's an evil wifey right there, for sure. For sure.
Okay.
The yellow dress that she wears in episode 4, banger. The entire fandom was on their knees. Ooh. And also the black dress with the little red scarf number attached to it in the finale. Yeah, she was killing the game. The fits were immaculate. She was doing it.
Love it. If you're going to be part of a crime family, you got to have the drip.
The dark eye makeup and the fringe bang looking thing. Yeah. She was in the kind of messy haircut look. Yeah, she was killing it all the way through. Nice. We love to see it. We love a dripped out evil woman. We do. They're the best. They always have the best fits.
No, yeah, it's just that's so very your brand.
Like I've been watching Arcane. Obviously, I'm not going to talk about it for what you've been watching. It's literally about to end next week, and we'll probably review it.
Yeah.
But like there's a character who becomes a bit of a fascist leader. I'm not going to say who.
As one does.
As one does, especially after a breakup. And just like the fit, I was like, yo, how come, like, if we're going to end up living in a fascist society, if we're going to end up living in this horrible anti-democracy dystopia, how come the bad guys can't at least have nice fits for us to look at?
Yo, I'm saying, come on.
Step your game up. I prefer to live in an anti-fascist society. Nobody seems to be listening. Yeah. But yeah, that was me thirsting after Kristen Milioti as Sofia Falcone. She looks amazing. Also, again, with her acting, her micro expressions, amazing. Just perfection. Also, I've never seen a villain use group therapy as a torture method. So outside the box thinking, we adore her. It's amazing. Anyway, so let's move on. We've got trailer tracking and we've got some news. We have so much, actually. Let's actually get into this.
Oh, man.
So first up, Disney D23 in Brazil. I didn't even know they had a D23 Brazil. They do, apparently.
They have a specific Brazilian one?
Yes, which apparently resulted in several pieces of casting news announcements and trailers. First trailer out, we've got a trailer for Captain America Brave New World, which is coming out in February.
On Valentine's Day.
Yeah, wild. I can't wait to see how many people are going on Valentine's dates to go see Captain America.
Right.
Actually, to be fair, if I was in a relationship, that would be my type of Valentine's date. Let's be clear here.
Yeah,
so.
It would.
It would be. I like superhero movies, and I hope that the person who ends up being my partner also likes superhero movies. It would be fun. But anyway, you're not super into the MCU, but what did you think of the trailer?
I mean, it's solid. It kind of reminds me of, like Winter Soldier, that sort of vein. It's more grounded. Obviously, okay, you've got the Red Hulk, but I mean, in general, it looks more like, oh, there's some espionage and secret shit going on, and why is Isaiah doing that? Was he mind controlled? And so it seems, it's funny that there's mind control again. Hey, Bucky, what's up?
Who is not in this movie?
Who is not in this one? Yeah, weird. But yeah, I mean, it looks solid. I feel like I'm interested to see, like, I'm probably not going to see it, but I'm interested to see, like, once it's out, how it suggests, like, the future of the MCU and stuff like that, because this feels like a very self-contained thing just from the marketing.
Yeah, I really like this trailer. I think they're doing a really good job editing these Captain America trailers. Like I really like the split screen thing that they were doing and like using that to show like cool duality and stuff like that. I was like, I don't think the movie is actually edited this way, but it would be cool if it was. It's really awesome. Yeah, again, it does look like we're heading back on more of a Winter Soldier-esque path. Although, like, to be fair, I think all the Captain America movies are very much on the more grounded political espionage tip, except for the first Captain America.
I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah, Civil War feels more like an Avengers movie, but it still has that kind of grounded political
Yeah, there's no, like, galactic threat. There's no big... I mean, I don't know, is there anything, like, magical or shit in that? I don't think so.
I mean, it's Black the fact Panther that Wanda can use magic, but, like...
Well, yeah, but, I mean, it's not like we have the magic cosmic cube and it turned me red and yada yada. It's not quite on that level. It's
a political fight amongst family to like the biggest extreme possible.
Yeah.
It's Thanksgiving dinner with your family members, but extreme. But yeah, it looks like it'll be good. Actually, the trailers have made me a lot more excited for that movie.
Okay.
And to see where it's going. You said that you're wondering where it leads to next. According to what I've heard on the streets, it sounds like it is heading into Thunderbolts, which we also got a new look at, and that one does have Bucky in it.
That was smooth.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I think Brave New World is supposed to introduce the fact that adamantium is made from the celestial remains that were created in Eternals, and Thunderbolts. I think the rumor has been that the Thunderbolts will be sent on a mission to obtain adamantium for Julia Louis-Dreyfus's character, Valentina. What did you think of that first look?
I mean, it's fun. It's your typical, like, band of misfits. They've all done some bad things, but they're going to come together to maybe do a good thing, maybe not sure. I think my biggest complaint, honestly, is how gray so much of it looks. I wish there were more color, but maybe that's not what they're going for. But even, like, come on, the Red Guardian is supposed to be red, and he's red, but he's, that muted red that, like, come on, dog.
I'm super looking forward to this movie. It's probably my most anticipated MCU movie of next year. It just looks like it's so much fun. It just looks like it has so much character as a movie. It's like, yeah, not only is this an MCU movie, but like all of these personalities are going to clash in such an interesting way. Also, it contains some characters that I love in the MCU. We've got my girl Yelena coming back, and Yelena is a big fan favorite ever since Black Widow. Whether you liked that movie or not, a lot of people would agree that Florence Pugh's Yelena is a lot of fun and that she is a great character to follow. We've got Bucky, also a fan favorite. Ava is my personal favorite. My girl Hannah John Kamen returning as Ghost. And I'm glad to see that she's getting some fun one-liners in there. Calling John Walker the dime store Captain America is...
He's so right.
Chef's kiss. It was beautiful. The delivery was perfect and everything. Yeah, it's good to see Ava not in such a place of despair and like desperation.
Yeah, not living a tortured existence.
Yeah, not as depressed. Seems like she's maybe not happy, but certainly not worried for her life at every second of the day.
I mean, yeah, if you're not going through extreme chronic pain, you'd probably be a little happier.
And she can use her powers, it looks like, without being super in pain. And I love that for her. That's what we want, honestly. Have a better life at the very least. I'd like you to be a better person too, but you got to start somewhere. So
yeah, you know.
I love Red Guardian. I love David Harbour as Red Guardian. I like any part of the Black Widow franchise, to be honest. And if I can't actually have Natasha, then I like having the bits of her family that I can have in the meantime. And Alexei and Yelena had such a great father-daughter relationship in Black Widow. So it'll be fun to see that continued. John Walker, off of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It'll be interesting to see the way that he interacts with everybody. Obviously, everybody seems to be roasting him off jump.
Yeah, as he deserves.
Yeah, rightfully so. He should be roasted. He deserves it. Man, it'll be interesting to see how that movie plays out. And just honestly, I'm just here to have a good time, and that movie looks like it's going to be a good time.
Yeah,
I don't need much more than that out of my.
I don't think it's going to have earth-shattering consequences, but it don't need to.
Although it might, because spoilers, Sentry is supposedly in this movie, and Sentry is the Marvel version of Superman. So.
Oh, damn. Okay.
If I read this properly, he has a good side and a bad side. So
doesn't everybody, or like, but like there's distinct or something?
Like there is a hero side and then there's a villain side. So
what? All right.
Yeah, like he's got like a split personality or something. I don't know. I've never actually read a comic with Sentry in it. I don't know much about him. I look forward to seeing what all that's about. Also, I really like that this trailer kind of firmly confirms that Valentina bought Avengers Tower. We've only been waiting since. Which movie was it where they were selling it? Far From Home?
Wait, was it Far From Home or?
It wasn't No Way Home. I think it was Far From Home.
It wasn't.
Or was it Homecoming? No, it was Homecoming. Vulture wanted to steal all the stuff off the plane so that he could also sell that stuff. I think they sold that building. When did that movie come out? 2016? Almost 10 years ago in the MCU. Like, it's been 10 years and we're finally finding out who bought the building. It's Valentina. So that's crazy. That's a long time.
Yeah.
Since like right after Civil War.
Damn.
We've been doing so much stuff in the MCU that is just like, the Avengers Tower is out there sold to somebody.
Yeah.
We've been handling bigger things. Speaking of big things popping in the MCU, we have What If coming back for its third and final season next month in December. What you think, Cassie?
I mean, I ain't seen the first two seasons, so it's kind of whatever. I will say I did love the like Voltron moment in the trailer.
I was about to say that's a very interesting. What if the Avengers was just Voltron?
Right? Like, damn, I love it. That's awesome.
That is pretty cool.
It's it seems like a fun show if you're into Marvel stuff and you just want to see different versions of things. It's an anthology, right? You're gonna like one, you might not like the next, and that's okay.
It's such a funny play on words. Avenger Assemble. Somebody heard that and was like, what if they were just assembling a Megazord? It's hard to... Well, first off, I'm excited because I do like the What If series. Like you said, I like the anthology of it all. I like that maybe I might not like this episode, but I might like the next episode of it. There's so much that you can do with the show, which makes me kind of sad that they're ending it after a third season because, again, so much you can do. Yeah, we haven't even gotten to really explore so many what if possibilities within this universe. Or, well, universes, I guess. It's a multiverse. But yeah, I like it. I'm not sure what the what if episodes are going to be based off of this trailer. I feel like the what if trailers are always very much like, here's what it looks like, and here's like some clues as to what the what ifs might be, but we're not really telling you what the what if is. So
yeah.
I don't know. I'm interested to see what concepts they came up for this season.
There's a Western in there. I know that much.
There is. We've got some characters from Shang-Chi in there. Red Guardian is definitely in there. I think Monica Rambeau's in there.
Mm-hmm.
Quite a number of characters that we haven't gotten to see in the What If series yet. I think this is Sam's first appearance on What If. We're going to play around. We're going to have some fun. And I think one of the more entertaining aspects of What If is that even though it's an anthology, all the stories of the season always come together for the season finale. So I'm curious as to how that's going to work out. And I love that there's a part in the trailer where the watchers tell the characters like this is it. You're done. Like, we're not doing this anymore. Or something like that. It's very threatening, whatever they say. And I'm very fascinated as to, in story, what is the excuse for what's going on there.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of potential ends to stories, Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Oh, boy. I feel the same way. I'm like, I don't know if this is actually the last Mission Impossible movie. Maybe the last Mission Impossible movie for Tom Cruise.
That'd be wild.
Yeah, it would be. But yeah, what did you think of the trailer? I don't think you didn't see the first part, did you? Dead Reckoning?
No, I think the only one I've seen is maybe Fallout.
Oh, man. I think you might like Ghost Protocol, but you don't really like action movies. I love Ghost Protocol. That's still my favorite one. That's the one that got me into the series, to be honest. One? Yes.
Yeah, people speak very highly of that one. I mean, I don't like. Real talk, I don't know what mission, I know what it is, I don't know what it is. There's some threat, there's a bunch of missiles, he's gonna stop it. How he gonna do it? I don't know, but it's gonna be harrowing. He's gonna do a lot of running, he's gonna do a lot of stunts, there are gonna be explosions, and he's probably gonna save the day. Like, that's really all I get from Mission Impossible.
I mean, that is what a Mission Impossible is. It's just really well done every single time they do it. Me and Dallas have this running joke where me and him consistently forget the plot in detail of a Mission Impossible movie, but we'll really enjoy whatever Mission Impossible movie we saw. It's like, oh, I really enjoyed that movie, and then 2 years down the line, if you asked us what that movie was about, we'd be like, I have no idea, but I do remember that I liked it.
To be fair, how much of it boils down to this person wants to conquer the world, usually with some sort of advanced weaponry?
Yeah, that's most of them, especially nowadays. Ghost Protocol is my favorite, and it's the one that I remember the most. I could tell you actually, I could tell you what's going on in that movie, what the battle is up against. I love that movie for the dynamics of everybody, though, and I love the stunt work in that movie. That movie, just for me, I think it's fantastic. It's great. That is my all-time favorite Mission Impossible movie. But all the ones that came after it, they up the stakes every time. They up the level of stunt performance that they're doing. I mean, there was that one time that Tom Cruise broke his ankle or something jumping from rooftop to rooftop. And you can actually see it breaking in the trailer for that movie. Yeah, I remember people slowing it down to show it. And I was like, nope, I don't need to see the actual break. Let's just watch the trailer. Let's just keep it pushing. I really like Dead Reckoning. I do remember that one of the more fascinating elements of Dead Reckoning was AI, I think. He's going up against AI technology. Yeah, very timely. He's going up against a machine, against the robots, and it's almost like the machine is God. It knows every outcome that can possibly be, and it chooses the outcome that is most probable to happen, and that's how it knows the future. And so it's very much Ethan having a hard time trying to figure out how do you fight something that already knows what move you're going to make next. And so I remember being very interested to see where the next part of that movie was going to go. Had a lot of great characters in it, people that I love watching. Haley Atwell joined the cast last movie, and I look forward to seeing her in this one again because I really enjoyed her character. Palm Clementine, I think, is going to be in this one. I hope she's in this one again because she was super good in the last one. Hannah Waddingham, I think, is also going to be in this movie, and I love Hannah Waddingham. Ted Lasso, she was awesome in her short roles in Hocus Pocus and Sex Education and Willow. So she's all around great actress. So it'll be fun to see her in a Mission Impossible movie. As to whether or not this will be the final Mission Impossible movie, I have doubts. But I mean, it could be the last one with Tom Cruise in it.
Could be.
It could be. I don't think Mission Impossible can't exist without Tom Cruise. I just think that it just would be a different thing altogether. It would be a different and new Mission Impossible. And that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, I don't see any reason why it couldn't continue with somebody else.
Yeah, I mean, Mission Impossible existed before the Tom Cruise Mission Impossible, so it can exist after as well.
Yeah, give that man a break.
If he don't want to break, he don't want to break. But I do think
Fair.
I do think that if Paramount does continue to do Mission Impossible further down the line, I think they should give it a rest after Tom Cruise's Mission Impossible movies are over. Give it some time, let people sit with what they've had with Tom Cruise, and then move on to the next generation of Mission Impossible.
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving on to our news segment. First piece of news. Disney saw people being hopeless about the election and said, oof, we need to give them a release date for Andor. Andor will be returning to Disney Plus on April 22nd, 2025 with season 2 and its final season, trying to give us the inspiration to be a rebellion that we need to be. I'm excited. Super excited. Andor is quite possibly the best Star Wars television show that they've done. Not my favorite, but certainly like just on a writing level and a storytelling level, potentially the best Star Wars show, period. And it is a show that I've told people that I don't think you need to be into Star Wars to appreciate and like Andor. And what it does. It is very much a show about political revolution and what it means to be, I don't know, I don't want to say radicalized, but radicalized into a revolution and into a rebellion.
Sure.
How far can a fascist government take things before you finally decide that I'm going to fight back and I'm not going to take it anymore? But also seeing pieces of the empire that we know from Star Wars, watching certain elements be built from a certain standpoint. There is an arc in Andor season 1 where Andor is in prison, obviously because this show is so much about revolution and political stuff. There is an arc about labor within prisons and how that is abused. And within that arc, we see Andor and his fellow prisoners creating parts of the Death Star. That's just a fascinating little thing to have in the show, while also trying to tell a broader message of how we treat people and how the world should be versus what it is. So yeah, I look forward to Andor coming back for season 2, especially once we get into the administration that we are about to enter into.
Yep.
It will be, once again, surprisingly timely.
Oh, God.
It's funny, I was talking about how Andor talks about like the prison labor system and how awful that is, like prison slavery, basically.
Yeah.
One of the things I saw on Tumblr about the Penguin, which I did not mention earlier, but should have been part of my review, is that most horror movies that are set in asylums, the horror of being in the asylum is the fact that you are locked in there with mentally ill people. And that's like potentially a very problematic thing to say.
It's bad. We need to stop doing that.
That the mentally ill are the scariest part of being in a mental asylum.
The problem is the psych ward itself and the way that it's run and the level of care they do or don't put into people.
And that's the way that the Penguin frames it, is that Sophia's time in the psych ward, the problem isn't necessarily the people that she is surrounded by who are in the asylum, the patients of the asylum. The problem is the doctors. It's the system. It's these people who are using their power and abusing it to abuse her as somebody who is in this asylum. That's the story that they tell on the Penguin. I thought, and it's really good. Again, the best episode of that show, which is episode 4, in my opinion.
Also,
such a good episode.
Shout out to California for being disappointing and not getting rid of prison slavery.
That was insane, and I don't want to talk about it.
Fair.
But yeah, Andor is returning, and I can't wait to talk to you guys about whatever political messaging Tony Gilroy has in that season, and potentially whatever he says in interviews when the show is coming out. I can't imagine that they will be able to talk about that show without discussing the current political climate.
Yeah.
And it'll be fascinating if they do, because even if you don't talk about it directly, I feel like you'll at least kind of hint at it.
You have to.
Yeah, but Andor also has some incredible monologues and speeches on that show that are very timely, and I would highly suggest watching that show. It's just so good, just in general. Just a really good show. So please check that out if you have not already. And be prepared for April 22nd. All right, next piece of news. Me and Cassie are extremely happy about this news because we've been hopeful and calling it for the last 2 years or so. Not the fact that Andra Day specifically is playing Athena in Percy Jackson and the Olympians, but the fact that a black woman is playing Athena.
Yeah.
Congratulations to Andra Day. Welcome to the Percy Jackson family. We are so excited to have you.
Yes. We needed this.
I don't know if there's anything more to say about that except
the streets needed this.
We needed it. We needed the joy. We needed the serotonin, the dopamine, everything.
I can't wait to see how she looks in the show. She's gonna look stunning.
I mean, well, she's gonna look like, at least in her human form, what we saw in that photo of her and Leah Sava Jeffries, aka Annabeth, who is playing her daughter, where she's wearing that yellow jumpsuit with the golden whatever the headpiece is. Oof, looks good. I'm so happy. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
It looks like she has the gray eyes.
Ooh.
Maybe. I don't know. I didn't take a good look into that. Yeah, I mean, Annabeth does not have them, but I mean, if you can have Athena have them, that's really, really cool.
Yeah.
I'm so happy. I love this for us. I mean, I figured it had to be. I was like, you're not going to cast a little black girl as Annabeth and not cast a black woman to play Athena and play her mama.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Because that's at least the view of her that Annabeth would have. And I think that's the view that the audience should have, since the show is from the perspective mostly of Percy, but by association, Annabeth and Grover's as well.
Right.
We didn't talk about this casting announcement either, but also having a black Zeus in Lance Reddick, rest in peace to the legend. We also got a black Thalia.
I'm so excited. That's
black girl magic. Black girl magic. We love it. Played by Tamara Smart. Who, funny enough, played his daughter in the Resident Evil series that I watched when that first came out. And I really enjoyed her performance back then, too. So, yeah, she actually talked about that when she got cast. She was like, we had always talked about doing another project together, and now we'll never get to, but I can at least do this in his legacy and in spirit of the agreement that we made or whatever. So it's that's beautiful. I love it. It feels so full circle and very promising.
That's really nice.
Yeah, I love the first season of the show. I can't wait for the second season. Those books only get better as the series goes on, more action-packed, more adventure. And these kids, I've grown to love these kids playing these characters. They truly embody this trio that we have grown to love, and I'm sure that we'll love the other kids and even the gods that come along with them.
Mm-hmm.
So looking forward to seeing Andra Day, who is an Oscar nominee, play Athena. Yeah.
Making some names.
They are. Every time. Next up, we have, I believe her name is pronounced Poorna Jagannathan. I probably pronounced that wrong. But she's joining Lanterns, the TV series about the Green Lanterns, for anybody who doesn't know that.
Yeah.
I don't know who this actress is. I'm just really excited to see that we have more casting news coming out. I can't wait to see what this show ends up being.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. I mean, I like that it's multiple lanterns. Do we know that they're all going to be green? I think that they're focusing on the green ones.
Well, we're having two lanterns, which will be Hal and John, played by Kyle Chandler and Aaron Pierre. I think everybody outside of that is just going to be regular people. Okay. Her character is Zoe, and she's being described as effortlessly confident and poised in any setting, even those where she stands out. She is every bit as composed and cunning of the influential men around her. Oh, we love to see it.
Nice.
I'm sensing somebody who is me-coded in that description.
Yeah, that does sound like your thing.
So I'm excited to see who her character is. I don't know who this actress is, but looking forward to seeing what she brings to the table. Yeah. As well as what the DCU in general brings to the table, let's be honest here.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Sophie Turner has been cast as Lara Croft in Phoebe Waller-Bridge's Tomb Raider series.
Interesting choice.
Tall girls up. As a tall girl myself. Yeah. I've discussed it before on this podcast. I grew up watching my dad play Tomb Raider games as a kid. I loved watching him play those games. So Lara Croft has a special place in my heart, just like the character in general. I've watched the Angelina Jolie movies. I watched the Alicia Vikander movie. I'm currently watching the animated TV series on Netflix, which even after 2 episodes, I can tell it's a really, really good show. And that one stars Haley Atwell as Lara Croft.
Have you played the recent Crystal Dynamics game?
I haven't played it, but my dad started playing it like a year or 2 ago, getting back in his Tomb Raider bag. But yeah, so I haven't played it. I personally have never played a Tomb Raider game, but I enjoy like what Lara Croft is, who she is as a person, and just, getting to be kind of like the female version of Indiana Jones. Like, you can't go wrong there.
Yeah.
Speaking of Indiana Jones, Phoebe Waller-Bridge was in the most recent Indiana Jones, and I'm excited to see what her writing brings to the character of Lara Croft.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if she'll bring any of... I mean, she did some of the writing for the Indiana Jones movie, too. I know that she did like some script... I think she did like some script doctoring or something. So I'll be interested to see if she brought anything from that experience into writing Tomb Raider.
I'm sure she did.
I've always felt like Tomb Raider should be like, if you're going to make a good Tomb Raider movie, all you have to do is kind of make a good Indiana Jones movie.
Kinda, yeah.
Make it Lara Croft and make it modern. I enjoyed the Angelina Jolie ones. I enjoyed the Alicia Vikander ones. The one Alicia Vikander one. And so far, I've enjoyed the animated series. So I look forward to seeing what Phoebe Waller-Bridge has written, and I look forward to seeing what Sophie Turner brings to the role. I enjoyed her on Game of Thrones. So it'll be interesting seeing her play a character that is vastly different.
Very different. Yeah.
So different than Sansa. And then our final piece of news, something that Cassie is super excited about, and I'm also very excited about it. Predator Badlands is set to have a Predator protagonist.
I love it. That's incredible. What does that mean? What does that fucking mean?
I don't know.
Are we going to get a tragic backstory? Like what?
Well, so Dan Trachtenberg is directing this one as well. Apparently he directed another Predator movie in secret, which I love. I think Hollywood should do that more.
That's amazing.
I think we should do a lot more mainstream franchise movies, but like don't tell anybody that it's being filmed. Just let it happen and let's see what happens when people find out. But apparently this movie is going to be set on an alien planet.
What?
I'd assume where the predators are from.
That would make sense.
And the protagonist will be a predator. So I don't know. There's so much that you could possibly speculate off this. Maybe
that's so different.
I mean, maybe the predators used to prey on each other.
Hey,
and
maybe.
Then, you know, maybe they came to Earth because they ran out of good competition. I don't know, but it'll be fun to see what he's cooked up. I loved Prey. Prey was so good.
Prey was great.
I still have not watched that movie in English.
Really?
Yeah, I've only seen it in the dub that they made for it.
Oh yeah.
That's the only way I've seen it. I need to watch it in English. I watched it that one time with the dub and I was like, this is so good. Oh my gosh. That was the anime fan in me, I guess, was just like, no, dub first. But yeah, I liked Prey. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he does with Predator Badlands.
Well, wait, is that Badlands or is that... Because I'm looking at the Wikipedia page and the lead in Badlands is Elle Fanning. So...
I don't know.
The other one?
So according to the Empire article, it says 2025 will see the release of Predator Badlands, which isn't exactly a follow-up to Prey, but a future set tale taking place on an alien planet. And most importantly, it brings a very different kind of Predator protagonist, the Predator itself.
Interesting. It sounds like that horror movie that I can't remember the name of, In a Violent Nature maybe, that was like from the perspective of a serial killer.
Oh, yeah.
That vibe.
The one that, Dallas has talked about that one.
Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, I'm down.
Okay. While audiences will be asked to empathize with Badlands' dreadlocked hunter, there will be humans in the mix too, notably Elle Fanning, who will play more than one character. She faced intense challenges on this movie, dramatically, physically, logistically, Trachtenberg teases.
Okay.
I'm intrigued. I can't wait to see what he's going to do. I mean, again, like I said, I loved Prey. I thought what he did with Prey was fantastic.
Prey was great.
Definitely taking us, looking at the Predator movies from a different angle. And I think that's kind of the best way to do something like these franchises, is to try and just find a new and unique way of telling a story with these characters. And this definitely sounds like that.
Yeah, it does.
But yeah, that's all the news we got for you guys today. Thank you guys for listening to all that. Thank you, Cassie, for joining me today.
Yeah.
Did you guys enjoy The Penguin? What did you guys think of the show altogether? Did you guys see The New Mutants? What did you think of that movie? Are you guys excited for all the new MCU stuff that we're about to get? We are heading back into the MCU drive after having only one movie this year and I guess 3 shows this year as well. So we're about to head back into the MCU era. So are you guys excited? Do you guys think that the upcoming movies look fun? Are you guys excited for What If? Guys, tell us down in the comments below, or you guys can find us on Facebook at Creative Differences PC, on X at X or Twitter at y'all_different, Instagram and Tumblr at Creative Differences Podcast, or TikTok at Creative Differences Pod. Cassie, where can they find you?
You can find me on, I guess at this point, Instagram and Blue Sky at Sassy Soothsayer. Come talk to me about Veilguard. It's the only thing that's been on my mind for the past 2 weeks. So just come yell at me about it.
Hey guys, I'm still currently on Twitter. I'm not really tweeting much right now, but I am currently still on Twitter. We'll see if I switch that up. But you guys can find me on there at Demi_Joie. Joie is spelled Joie. Come talk to me about Arcane because it is all I'm thinking about all the time right now. Thank you guys for joining us. Tune in next time. We will probably be reviewing Arcane since it's going to be ending at the end of this week. Or there is the possibility that not only will we be reviewing Arcane, but also Wicked, Gladiator 2, and Moana 2.
No, oh god. Well, Moana 2 comes out, I think, a week after those.
It comes out 4 days after.
Oh, Jesus.
Guys, we've got
shout out
a busy
to
couple
not working
weeks.
in a movie theater anymore.
We'd be so tired.
Hey. Oh my god, yeah.
All right, guys. And if you guys want to find Dallas on Twitter, you guys can find him at Blissed Out. If you guys saw the penguin, you know what I'm talking about. Man, it's so weird not having him here. All right, guys, this has been different.
Yeah,
bye.
Weird. Bye.
Whenever we do this, I always forget that we need to have like a tag and we need to have like a fun little like username thing. And I'm sad I don't have a username for Gabby. And I want to come up with one.
Yeah.
It's like
I haven't seen the penguin, so I can't think of one related to that.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, you know what? There's a scene where Sophia has a character tied up to a chair after a particularly kinky affair, and I feel like there's a name somewhere in there. I can't figure it out right now.
Fair.
Dallas is better at this.
Yeah, he usually comes I think he prepares in advance.
Well, sometimes he also just comes up with them on the fly, though.